Bonaducci, life coach. Danny Bonaducci, life coach.
Alrighty, now is the time. Danny Bonaducci, life coach. Here's our phone number, 1-800-252-1025. Life coach, brought to you every weekday morning by our good friends at Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE. Let's say hello to Marcy in Marysville. Good morning. I'm sorry about that. Good morning, Marcy in Marysville.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
What can I do for you?
I'm apprehensive right now. I've been in a 12-year relationship with my boyfriend, and I love him very much. And he just kind of dropped a bomb on me the other day, wanting to know how I would feel if we moved somewhere close around here, but then he would come back down to where his base construction area is and stay for the week, and then come back up where for the weekend. And there's been some infidelity going on within the last couple of years, and I'm just wondering, I'm really apprehensive about that.
Well, I have already made my decision upon this before you told me about that there's been infidelity already, so that just adds it to you. But your question is basically, should you trust your boyfriend of a dozen years, because all of a sudden he wants to move to Ellensburg, which is a serious trip away, and be gone the whole week. Should you trust him? And the answer is no. And I'll tell you why. Not because he cheated before. You couldn't use that in court. You could never, somebody's behavior before is not an indicator legally of what they're doing now. And so here's the thing. Long distance relationships never work, but without that, here's what he's doing, Marcy, and I know this because I used to be a bad guy. He's going to check the waters. He's going to establish himself down in Ellensburg as a single man, and he's going to see how that works out and what's available and where the drinking holes are and who the waitresses are and who sits around the bars, whatever kind of behavior your boyfriend of a dozen years does. And so if it works out great as a single man, you're never going to see this cat again, Marcy. And if it works out poorly and he doesn't have brighter horizons than he thought he would, he's going to come crawling back to you. Do you want that? Do you want, because he couldn't do better, he'll take you? And by the way, in my opinion, he could never do better than you. You're the one that called the life coach. Yeah, I don't like anything about it. So even if he doesn't have malice in his heart, long-distance relationships fail almost every single time. And I truly believe that this came out of nowhere because he wants to test the waters and see who's around in Ellensburg, but I don't like it at all. Thank you very much, Marcy. I appreciate the phone call. And good luck, by the way.
If you've got a question, now is the time to call the life coach at 800-252-1025 with any kind of question you have. Relationships, work, drugs, alcohol, diets, anything. Danny can help you. Sabrina calling from Kent. You are on with the life coach.
Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning, Sunshine.
Good morning. What can I do for you?
So I got divorced about 5 years ago, and I'm in a committed relationship with someone who I've been living with for about 3 years. And someday we do want to get married, and we're totally committed to each other. But right now, it's just when you introduce him to people, it's like, this is my boyfriend. It just sounds so childish. And
yes,
I don't
it does.
Say
I agree with you completely. This is my boyfriend. We're going steady. He pinned me on his Letterman jacket. Yeah, it does. It sounds juvenile to most of the world. I don't have a problem with it really, but I think people want to grow up and they want a commitment. So, what is your full-blown question for me?
I'm just wanting your opinion on these titles. What would you do? How would you introduce someone that you're going to marry them someday, but you're not actually engaged?
Well, do you have a commitment to marry them?
Well, do we?
Yep.
Well, he hasn't asked me, will you marry me yet, but I
don't like the sound of that. He hasn't asked you to marry him yet. All he has to do for you to get what you want on this, and him too, if you think that, hey, this is my boyfriend, sounds childish, you don't have to get a ring. You don't have to give him a ring. He just has to say, will you marry me? And you say yes, and now he's your fiance. And everybody sounds grown up.
And if it's not fiance, then what is the other option other than boyfriend?
That's a good question from Sarah. What is the other option?
Domestic partner.
That's a mouthful. Hey, this is my domestic partner, Bill. Bill, domestic partner, Ralph. You know what? That's worse than boyfriend. Yeah, he should ask you to marry him so you can say that this is my fiance, so everybody can grow up. And then, by the way, here's the biggest difference between domestic partner and my husband and or wife, because they're both good. I think they're very good. One, you get the ceremony. One, you get to wear a cool dress, and your friends come out and they wish you the best. The toasts are made, and people do too much drinking. drinking and say stupid stuff. But eventually, I think you should get married. And I'm not a big, hey, let's spend, the average American wedding costs $27,000 now. I don't think you have to, break the bank on this thing, but I think eventually you should get married. And if you agree that you're gonna, he's now your fiancé. Nothing has to happen besides you guys have to agree you're getting married, and now he's your fiancé, and you say, this is my fiancé. Thank you for the call there, Sabrina.
Whenever you say domestic partner, if I ever say to somebody, oh, I was talking to my partner the other day, I'm like, oh, now they think I'm gay.
They think you're gay.
No, I'm talking about Danny.
When I owned a restaurant, a very 12-seater restaurant, Italian restaurant, pizza restaurant, really, I had it with a guy named Darren. And I would talk about my partner, Darren, and I realized everybody thinks I'm gay. And what else matters is Darren was gay. There was no way out after that.
Well, and especially now, domestic partnership can be gay people who live in places.
That's totally what I thought. When I saw the call come up and I saw domestic partner, I went, oh, wait, who's gay in this phone call? Because I just assumed it.
800-252-1025. If you have a question for the life coach, call. Remember, you can change your name. You can be anonymous. You can be Becky. You can be Steve. Just make the phone call if you've got an issue that you need some help with. 800-252-1025. We've got an email here from Alicia. She writes, my husband has been hanging out with the Masons. Do you know anything about Freemasons?
Yeah.
Are they bad? Should I be worried? Any advice?
I'll give you some advice. What's this person's name again?
Alicia.
Here's the deal on Freemasons. They used to be a big... Well, no, I'll point out a famous Freemason to you. Ready? George Washington. Thomas Jefferson. They're all Freemasons. Look at the design. They have the design on their clothes sometimes, the Freemasons. And they were never really bad since there was an America at a country. You go past the 1770s with me, and you go over to Europe, and the Freemasons were up to all sorts of weird stuff. But here, they've never been that bad, and now it's almost completely a social order for engineers, if they even follow that much. If you look at their insignia, there's one of those, there's a level in there. They're engineers. That's what they do, and not what they worship, but that's what they know about. But to answer your question as succinctly as possible, no, there's nothing bad about the Masons.
She was watching that movie with Tom Hanks, I think.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly the bad rap that they get. Look at the Masons now, the Masonic temples and things like that. They're kind of awesome. I'd let them babysit my kids.
Now, if
my kids
she
are
said her
21.
husband was hanging out with the Illuminati, then maybe...
I would say awesome. That's so cool.
800-252-1025. If you got a question for the life coach, call now. As I've said, you can always be anonymous and change your name. We do have an anonymous email.
I love that.
I have wanted to be an actor all of my life, but I am frustrated over how to go about it. I'm 33. I work a decent job. I just bought a house for my pregnant wife and daughter, but I'm almost always unhappy. I feel like entertaining...
Because she's pregnant, man.
I feel like entertaining other people is the only thing that makes me feel good, and I don't think I'm very good at anything else. People tell me I should be an actor, follow my dream, but it seems like the road to get started doesn't exist. It makes me miserable knowing the one thing that I want to do with my life doesn't seem possible. I want to be an actor. Any advice?
Yeah. Change your hopes and dreams. If not, here's the thing. Of course, the road to success in every category that exists. If Matthew McConaughey can do it, you can do it, man. How hard is that? That guy who we're talking about, the little wizard boy, Daniel Radcliffe, he's got like $70 million, that kid. I'll bet you're a better actor than him. But here's what you want to do. You want to get, and this is the oldest thing in acting world, because I don't consider myself an actor. I consider myself lucky when I was a kid. But I know some stuff about it because I was surrounded with them. Here's the thing. Actors act. Go talk to any agent, go talk to any acting coach, and they will say, actors act. Go get yourself in a little play that pays you absolutely no money and has less than 99 seats in the theater, which is likely anyway, and start acting. You want to be an actor? Act. There's people out there that have nobody to play a certain part in these little theater groups that are in every little principality, the close to the word I meant. Get in there and start acting. There's little theater groups that you can do. Start acting. Actors act. And in that time, once you're doing what you're meant to do, your craft or whatever that crap is that people say, then you go out and get agents' numbers, and they're easy to get. They're all over the internet. You can get agents' numbers and go out on auditions and audition to act more. But my total advice right now is act, and don't quit your day job. And that's not a joke. Do not quit your day job you had a pregnant wife, for God's sakes, man. Don't quit your day job. Go out on auditions, and most of all, act.
That's a good, really good advice as always. But I was thinking, you can't just become an actor now, but people get a lot of joy out of just going to the Playhouse.
Absolutely, and acting, and that's really a thing I've always heard. I was whining for a while after the Partridge Family ended. I wanted to continue with this, make money doing that, and I couldn't get a job. And I'd say, what do I do? And everybody that was in authority would say, actors act, go act. So that's my advice to you. That's all the time we have today for Danny Bonaduce, Life Coach. So here's the deal on this. Thank you very much. Life Coach is brought to you by Goldberg Jones, Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE.